Mm, that's good cheese. Oh, hey, yeah. Come on in. Glad you could make it. I'm Tim Jones, and welcome to another edition of View from the Bleachers. Pardon me for talking with my mouth full. I just had a bite of one of my favorite cheeses, Kerrygold aged Irish cheddar. Man, that's good. Mm. And it turns out extremely good for you, which is why cheese is something I want to talk to you about for your health. I'll reveal the secrets on the other side. Welcome back. Now, not to brag, but I consider myself an expert in the field of mental health. In my research, I've spent literally decades trying to decipher the complex inner workings of the minds of children, specifically mine. I conducted in-depth field research on the mysteries of adolescent behavior, studying my own daughter's elaborate efforts to slowly, carefully drive me insane. And my therapist has concluded that they were wildly successful in that regard. Thanks to my two daughters, I've gained a wealth of insights into what can trigger negative emotions in young people, from anger to anxiety to depression to rage to fear to. Did I mention anger and rage? My point is this: I've concluded that everyone at one time or another struggles with mental wellness, even our cats. For most of us, it may be short lived, but there comes a time when life's challenges can leave even the most optimistic person feeling overwhelmed, depressed, or momentarily helpless. And I'm here to help. When people get depressed or anxious, they typically try a variety of strategies to cope with their struggles. Oh, some turn to psychotherapy, but let's face it, that can be expensive and it can be a long journey, often taking months or even years before it succeeds. Now, others will turn to prescription medications, but these often come with some serious side effects and, worse yet, possible addiction. Still, others try to work through their dark feelings by engaging in arduous, vigorous exercise. But this comes with one obvious downside, by which I mean arduous, vigorous exercise. Now, as a mental health expert, trust me when I tell you that therapy, drugs, and exercise are grossly overrated in overcoming your emotional demons. I've discovered that there's a much simpler way, one that does not require months of working through with a counselor your childhood trauma caused by the time, well, you accidentally rode your tricycle right over your pet hamster Bubbles. No, my solution requires none of that, and no sit-ups or crunches either. It just requires you to open your mouth. Open your mouth wide. Because my solution, eat cheese. That's right. It turns out that not only is cheese one of the 5 best foods in the world, in case you were curious, the other 4 include chunky peanut butter, German chocolate cake, Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia ice cream, and a New York steak prepared medium rare with béarnaise sauce. But it's also, cheese is good for your mental health. Now, Harvard scientists, and of course Harvard scientists are never wrong, have discovered that the human brain reacts to cheese by releasing a feeling of euphoria, a chemical compound found in dairy called casein. Now, when consumed, it triggers the feeling that you've been rewarded, boosting your happiness hormone levels. They've even concluded that eating cheese every day is an effective way to fight against depression. Now, however, eating too much cheese may cause you to become euphoric with an uncontrollable impulse to take off all your clothes and shave your head. So eat cheese in moderation, okay? Now, further research has found that the country whose citizens consume the greatest quantity of cheese per year is France. C'est vrai, mon ami. The average French citizen, seen here, consumes on average approximately 55 pounds a year, more than any other country, even more than is consumed by the residents of Gorgonzola, Italy, and yes, that is an actual place. And yet, despite all their cheese consumption, or maybe because of it, the current life expectancy of a French person is 82 years, roughly a decade longer than the global average. So if you want to live a long and healthy life, why not start by having a healthy serving of French onion soup tonight? Bon appetit! Now, interestingly, Even many animals have figured out the benefits of cheese. Take mice, for example. They're very smart. They've known for ages that cheese makes them much happier. Well, with the notable exception of when it comes attached to a mousetrap. Be careful, little buddy. And check this out. Cheese even has the added bonus that it strengthens your teeth and your bones, in part thanks to all that calcium. It also helps you get a better night's sleep. And we all know how grouchy you can get when you haven't had a good night's sleep. Now, just stuff a few slices of Munster cheese in your pie hole before bedtime, and you'll sleep like a bear. Of course, this same article did proclaim many benefits of cheese, but it also went on to list the 5 health benefits of drinking gin each day. So perhaps take my above advice with a grain of salt, or better yet, with a slice of Gruyere. Now, another great thing about eating cheese to ward off depression is that it comes in so many different varieties. You can enjoy it with crackers, on top of a burger, in a cheese quesadilla, or for the more adventurous palate, by downing a bottle of, wait for it, blue cheese flavored soda. Hard to believe that's a thing, I know, but it's for real. Now, some people don't quite understand how cheese works. It's most effectively applied by ingesting it into your mouth. Sadly, these men have not figured out that cheese worn atop one's head will never make them happy. Even more so ever since their Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers was traded to the Jets. Don't give up, guys. There's always next year. Now, while generally it's recommended that you eat actual unprocessed cheese for maximum mental health improvement, in a pinch, if you've run out of cheese in your fridge, just go ahead and scarf down a bag of Cheetos. It pairs nicely with a liter of Mountain Dew. Why? I say, why not? Now, of course, as with any mental health regimen, there are a few potentially negative side effects from a diet consisting primarily of mac and cheese, chili cheese dogs, and Cheez-Its. Although, at the moment, none of these risks come to mind. Oh, right. You can put on a lot of weight. Yeah, there is always that. If you find yourself packing on a few unwanted pounds from all that fromage, well, don't eat less cheese, eat more. That's because cheese, like turkey, is a great source of tryptophan. And after a few slices of cheddar, you'll be out like a light. And you won't be fretting over your embarrassing weight gain until you wake up tomorrow morning. As I was researching the many positives from eating cheese for my own mental health, I stumbled onto one other slightly concerning cautionary factoid. It turns out that ingesting too much cheese or dairy can lead to dangerously high cholesterol and elevated blood pressure levels, increasing one's risk of cardiovascular disease. Well, reading that made me feel suddenly very depressed and more than a little anxious. I started to feel my heart rate increase from feeling all stressed out, and then it occurred to me. I knew exactly how to overcome my sudden, anxious, depressed mood. That's right. I simply made myself a grilled cheese sandwich, and voila! I felt better immediately. Well, that's the view from the bleachers. I'm Tim Jones. Well, we're gotta get going. Take it cheesy, and remember, the best things in life are brie.